Hello everyone, welcome to my channel. I hope everyone is having a wonderful day. Before starting the video, please go ahead and hit the subscribe button and give this video a like up. Today on The Young and the Restless, Billy makes headway with Daniel. Chloe warns Sally about Billy, and Holden agrees to help Amy. All products and services featured are independently chosen by editors. However, soaps.com may receive a commission on orders placed through its retail links, and the retailer may receive certain auditable data for accounting purposes. At Society, Chloe admits she hates that Sally is going to Paris without her. Signed, she tells her pal she deserves this trip for not backsliding with Adam. Sally says that wasn't an option. She reflects that things are going really well. Chloe wonders if that look on her face is because of work or Billy Abbott. Chloe offers up her opinion of Billy, saying he's funny and brilliant, and also broken, which is catnip for women like her. Victoria, Lily, Chelsea, and now Sally. Sally admits her smile might be because Billy is going to be in Paris at the same time as her. Chloe thinks that's great. It's a trip to a foreign country, not a lifetime commitment, which would be a different story. He doesn't have a great track record. Sally touts him starting up his business and complains people only focus on his mistakes. He's going to prove to the corporate world that he's one of the best. Chloe's unconvinced. At his place, Billy thanks Jack over the phone for the deposit to fund his new company. The doorbell rings and he calls. It's open. Phyllis and Daniel come in and Billy asks, "Are we celebrating or what?" Daniel says, "I guess that depends on you." Phyllis wants Billy to give Daniel the passionate speech he gave her. Billy asks, "How did that go again?" They sit and Billy says this will be delicate and a lot of work. Everyone has to be all in. He'd love to hear what Daniel's thinking, given he's been apprehensive. He believes Abbott Communications is the perfect spot for him. Daniel asks where he sees him in this. Billy tells him he'd be a key part of the Tiger team, who will solve problems. He thinks what Daniel did to get his family through that nightmare he lived was heroic. He deserves a chance to turn the page. Daniel appreciates that, but isn't sure he should be turning that page with Billy. In Nate's living room, Amy demands to know who the man in front of her is. "This man is a liar. He's not my son. I've never seen him before in my life." Holden turns to leave, but Nate stops him. Not a chance. He demands to know who he is and what the hell he's after. Amy demands to know if her son is alive. "What have you done with him?" Holden holds up his hands and admits he works for Damian. He sent him to meet with Nate because he doesn't know him and doesn't have time for random meetings. Amy asks why he be so secretive. Holden says he values his time and privacy. Nate accuses him of running a scam on him. Holden counters that he offered a job that didn't exist. Amy says Holden obviously knows where Damian is. She wants him to take her to him immediately. It's a matter of life and death. Amy tells Holden she has to see her son before it's too late. Holden says Damian made himself very clear. Amy cries that there's something he needs to know. She loves him and forgives him for shutting her out. She needs him to forgive her. Nate tells Amy that Holden gets that she's a good woman and a good mother. He urges her to slow things down. Amy tells Holden she needs to see her son. "You could do the decent thing and help me." Holden didn't sign up for any of this. Amy says that's between him and Damian. "Are you going to help me?" Holden asks what she meant by "before it's too late." At Society, Chloe denies she's picking on Billy. Sally suggests she imagined the best about his new venture. Chloe shrugs that he might be a huge success, or he might not, but he's a good guy who's always down for a good time. Sally deserves some romance after what that tool Adam pulled on her. Sally wants to get back to Billy. Chloe admits that back in the day she was pretty obsessed with him, so she understands how she feels. Sally recaps losing Adam and not wanting to risk getting her heart broken again. Then, there was Billy, who was just as miserable. Once they stopped talking about Adam and Chelsea, they discovered a friendship and chemistry. It made her feel desirable again. It's nothing serious, and may never be. She's just having fun. Chloe warns that Billy is fun, but he does screw up his life on a regular basis. You are the catch here. If Billy is smart, he'll do whatever it takes to keep her. Sally's the reason he may have a chance at redemption. Sally scoffs at her bringing stability to a relationship, but Chloe insists she has impact in Billy's life. They debate whether he'll need reminders not to blow things up. Sally thinks he'd be perfectly fine without her and vice versa. Chloe nods. "You're worried about getting too invested and attached." Sally accuses her pal of badgering her. Chloe says Billy's family to her. If this turns into something serious, he'd be damn lucky, and she'd be happy for them. At Billy's place, he tells Daniel, they're going to lead with tech. They'll harness the power of AI, but they won't let the machines do the thinking. They'll leave that to everyone else, and they'll become redundant. Phyllis says their brains will do the thinking and keep everything fresh. Billy tells Daniel that's where his talent comes in. Whatever you envision, we can make happen. Daniel's impressed and intrigued, but asks where Billy sees them fitting into this new company. Billy asks, what do you really want? Does he want to focus on gaming or his art? Daniel says not art, not right now. Billy asks what kind of impact he wants to make. You can write your own ticket. Phyllis talks up how good this will look to Lucy and says it will give her son freedom. Daniel says it sounds incredible, but plans can go sideways. He questions if Billy has the money. Billy says Jack's on board and the money is in the bank. His brother has faith in him and the startup. What do you say? Are you in? Daniel isn't saying no. He wants a night to think about it. Billy tells him to take a few days. If he comes on board, he needs to be committed. Billy reveals he's headed to Paris tonight, and Phyllis is taken aback. Billy explains it's not business. He's going with Sally. At Nate's place, Amy wants Holden to tell her son it's urgent that she see him. Nate points out the man trusts him. Amy just wants one meeting and then he doesn't have to see her again, if that's what he wants. Holden sighs. With all due respect, ma'am. How sick are you? Amy only says, I need to see him as soon as possible. Nate thinks that should be enough for him. Holden will try, but warns Damian is a stubborn man. Nate says they have faith in him, and it needs to be soon. Holden tells him Damian will want to know how he figures into this. Nate says, whatever he's thinking, it's bigger than that. He'll be happy to explain it to him, if he shows up. At Society, Chloe talks to Sally about cute outfits and hopes she doesn't die of jealousy over Paris. Sally will take her next time. Chloe urges her to take time for romance. Sally says they're just having fun. There's no pressure. Chloe continues to go on about Paris, and Sally suggests she go home and write a book. At Nate's place, he hands Amy a drink and apologizes. You shouldn't have known that man wasn't Damian. She asks, how could you have known? Amy doesn't understand how her son could make Holden do this. Nate recaps that if she hadn't seen him, they still wouldn't know what was going on. Amy says it hurts that her son kept these secrets and deception to avoid her. Even after Nate mentioned her to Holden, Damian continued on with that nonsense. This is how he feels about her. Nate reminds her he was being cautious because of him. Now he'll hear that she loves and misses him. Nate knows she's the best kind of mother and Damian will remember that and how much he still loves her. She wonders if Holden will get Damian to come around. Nate shrugs that he has some persuasive skills given that he fooled him. He understands the urgency now. Amy worries if Damian will. Nate marvels that he thought he was getting a handle on his half-brother, but it wasn't him at all. Why would he send a plant? Does he have a secret he's trying to protect? Maybe he got his power and wealth in illegal ways and doesn't want anyone looking too close. Amy remembers how perfect he was as a baby. She likes to think he had a good life. But in her heart, anything is possible. Holden meets Damian in the park. Damian asks what he found out about Nate and his mother. Holden says a lot went down, and he's not going to like any of it. He tells Damian that he saw his mother, and she saw me. Damian curses. Holden explains it was an ambush. Now they both want to know why he lied about who he was. He told them the truth given they have different faces. Damian fumes that he was supposed to make sure his mother didn't see him. Holden didn't have a choice in it. He tells Damian, you need to see your mother. Damian shakes his head. That's not happening. Holden warns. She doesn't look well. I think your mother's sick, Damian. At Billy's place, Daniel tells him he'll have an answer for him soon. Phyllis sends Daniel out to warm up the car, and then confronts her partner. Seriously, you're leaving town now. She thinks this is a distraction. Jack put his trust in him, and he's returning the favor by flying to Paris with Sally. This is the kind of behavior with you that makes me so nervous. Right now, we can't split focus. Billy says it's a few days. Phyllis counters that every second counts. Billy says Daniel hasn't decided if he's in yet, and she said she's not in unless he is. He doesn't see the problem here. This leaves Phyllis without an argument. Billy says, "Oak, good." She warns she'll be texting him all the time. Billy will look at her suggestions when he gets back. Phyllis snarks that she'll be working while he's on his restful trip. Billy tells her to get Daniel on board. Laissez le bon temps rouler, he quips. Phyllis informs him that's a French saying to use in New Orleans, not Paris. Billy chuckles. Let the good times roll, as she stomps out. Sally joins Billy and tells him Chloe insisted she has to come to Paris next time. She urges him to get moving so they don't miss their flight. He cuddles her from behind, and she teases. We don't have time for this. He asks if she kept her fortune from earlier. It's said that she will have great success. In bed. Billy grins. Sally recalls they got interrupted. They start making out. Phyllis follows Daniel into society asking him to admit that Billy is so good at what he does. Daniel thinks he talks a good game, but fumbles the follow-through. Phyllis says he needs a good team. No one can take this away from us. Daniel realizes this means a lot to her. Phyllis wants to see her son shine and to be respected. We've been burned, in work and in life. Daniel admits that it feels like things could actually work out. Maybe this is a turning point for both of them. Phyllis grins. In the park, Damian complains that this is not what he had planned. Holden says his mother deserves answers. Damian says it's been years since he's seen her. She was healthy. Holden says she's not now. She has real answers for him and love. What do you have to lose by hearing her out? At Nate's place, he tries to talk to Amy about seeing doctors, but she's only concerned with how to tell Damian what she has to say if he won't see her. She decides it has to be face-to-face. He's got to give me that much. Nate's phone rings, and he says they're about to find out. He answers and says, "Hello, Holden? What did Damian have to say?"